Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. When you read, you begin with A, B, C. And when you review your favourite show, you begin with the first episode, obviously. Probably should have thought that through. Hey YouTubers, welcome to MJN's Animation Reviews, where I rate cartoons from awful to awesome. My Little Pony! My Little Pony, My Little Pony. This franchise needs no introduction. I've heard of it, you've heard of it, we've all heard of it. Even if you hate My Little Pony, you've still heard of it. Which, thinking about it, makes perfect sense, since you need to have heard of something to hate it, but who cares? Ponies! These ponies have been providing the world with cuteness, beauty, imagination and nostalgia for decades, and in 2010 a then new generation of ponies appeared in our lives. And while there's two newer generations around now, this generation definitely left its impact on me and many others. So without delaying any further, let's see how it all began. For this generation, not the whole thing. All for me. And the show starts with a storybook, which is a pretty nice touch, and I like the idea of giving the book a different art style to the actual show. Anyway, what we get from this is that centuries ago there were two princess sisters, one controlling the sun, the other the moon. But as every pony slept during the night, the latter pony felt unappreciated, became an evil version of herself, causing her sister to reluctantly banish her to the moon. I don't know, families, am I right? Also, this all takes place in
the magical land of Equestria,
which, if you ask me, is a beautiful name for the overall setting of the show, because it actually sounds magical in my opinion, and all they did was drop the N from a horse-related word. I love it! This is Twilight. A beautiful and adorable unicorn who spends most of the time studying, and thus hasn't yet discovered that friendship is magic. Spoiler alert, she definitely will soon. But for now she's too distracted by that story she read earlier to pay any attention to the beautiful ponies who tried to socialise with her, and runs straight into the library. I mean into Spike. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be his purpose in some episodes. Okay, I can't put off saying this. The design and art style of this show, especially in places like this library, are just so nostalgically beautiful in my opinion. It really looks like something that I could have grown up watching from my childhood, even though I started watching only a year after it came out. Don't get me wrong, the 2010s are my favourite decade, and this is a 2010 show first and foremost. But there's something about the way it looks and, in places, the way it's written, that gives it a kind of classic charm. At least for me, anyway. Anyway, Twilight wants to research the prophecy that she read about earlier, even though, according to Spike...
But we're on a break!
We were on a break!
As she fears that a great evil from 1,000 years ago is about to return. Incidentally, this is the first occurrence of something taking place 1,000 years ago, which may not sound like a big deal now, but trust me, I'll definitely have something to say about that in a later review. Twilight has Spike send a message to Princess Celestia, who's totally the Queen, but we can't say that because Hasbro thinks that the target audience thinks that Queens are evil, warning her of the danger she thinks is approaching. Hey, wait a second, what was that? Okay, I wasn't taking it seriously before, but now I think Twilight's onto something. Let's see what helpful advice the princess offers her.
But you simply must stop reading those dusty old books!
Oh. Turns out the end of the world isn't such a big deal, so the princess sends Twilight to the rather obviously named Ponyville to help with some celebration or another.
So I'm sending you to supervise the preparations.
Wow, it sounds like they should have sent someone to supervise with the voice editing there. Also, she has to make some friends, which is very important because it's like the theme of the show or something, I don't know.
The fate of Equestria does not rest on me making friends.
Do you want to tell her, or should I? And speaking of which, it looks like it's time for Twilight to make a new friend already. This pony looks like she could be a fun and cute pony to have around. Let's see what she's like.
Hello?
Right then. Believe it or not, that actually will get explained later. But for now, it's time for Twilight to get started on planning the Summer Sun celebration. And it turns out a farm known as
Sweet Apple Acres.
is taking care of the food. This seems like a good time to introduce a new character. But what kind of pony would be in a place like...
I'm Applejack. We here at Sweet Apple Acres sure do like making new friends.
Well, this Applejack certainly seems like a friendly pony with an adorable voice that won't need changing in the later seasons. A little too friendly, in fact. You'll pull her foreleg off, you silly pony! Okay, that was kind of funny. Oh, what? Wait, what? More new ponies? Okay, yeah, got it. Okay, well, okay, but hang on. No, slow down. Wait, no, what was that? What was that one? No, go back, slow down.
And Granny Smith.
Something apples. Okay, got it! The Apple family want Twilight to stay for a while, but of course, she's got far too much to do today for that. Which is fine, and she should be able to get away just as long as no pony does anything adorable. Oh, for Pete's sake! So Twilight ends up staying for some food after all, and wouldn't you know it?
I ate too much pie.
Na 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 na.
It is also around this point that we get our first inclination that the ponies themselves, more so the Pegasus ponies in this respect, are in control of the weather. They put the clouds in places, have schedules on when it should rain, etc. And while I admit I do find myself forgetting that little fact at times, I think it's kind of a good idea. I mean, this is a children's show at the end of the day. A well-written Doesn't Talk Down Can Be Watched at Any Age children's show, yes, but a children's show nonetheless. And doesn't magical ponies being in control of things like the weather seem nostalgically childlike? Anyway, there's apparently supposed to be a specific pony clearing the sky in Ponyville, but... Oh, heavens to Mega Drive, what was that? Okay, so a great deal of this half of the premiere is basically Twilight and Spike being introduced to the other main characters. Rainbow Dash here being the cool adventurous one, which is a character type I love, particularly with female characters. But there really isn't that much I can say about these scenes other than here is the introduction to that character. So I'll basically just break it down. Following Rainbow Dash, we have Rarity, an extremely beautifully designed pony whose personality is definitely as beautiful as what is being displayed on the outside. She's such an instantly lovable character in my opinion. I can't get enough of her. However, I just love how they had to give Spike a crush on her just to show that this obviously beautiful character is in fact beautiful. I'm not joking. Ask around. That's the whole reason they did that storyline. I mean, I've even spoken to people who have never watched the show and even they get that Rarity is supposed to be the beautiful one because, well, look at her! Fluttershy is next, which is awesome because she's my... Wait.
I'm Fluttershy.
Also, this whole scene basically looks like Twilight and Fluttershy trying to out-adorable each other, and I seriously don't know what to do here. Wait, no. Actually, I do know what to do here, and that's point out the very Final Fantasy VIII style sound effect here. And that's not the only time we're going to compare Final Fantasy to this cartoon. You can trust me on that one. Twilight arrives at the library she's staying at in Ponyville, and it's also a tree for some reason. Oh, how nostalgically children's show of it all. And it turns out that cute pink pony from earlier threw a surprise party for her. Awesome!
I saw you when you first got here, remember? You were all
Okay.
and I was all,
Yeah, right,
remember?
cool,
You see, I
okay.
never saw you before, and I
Right,
never saw you
yeah,
before, and
okay,
I
just,
knew, 'cause I
hang
know
on, can you just say,
everything, and I
sorry, can I just say,
knew
hang on,
if you knew, then you hadn't met
sorry,
anyone.
can I just think,
You must not have any friends. If you don't have any friends, then you must be...
Okay, in all fairness, they did very awesomely at making it clear that Pinkie Pie here could be annoying in storyline, but not be annoying as a character in my opinion. Twilight, however, is not in a party mood, especially after a little run-in with...
Hot
sauce.
And she retires to the bedroom, despite the fact that the party is scheduled to last until sunrise, because obviously it's the
Summer sun celebration. Every pony has to stay up or they'll miss the princess raise the sun.
So, what do you say to that, Twilight?
Beady
What?
beady.
Okay, Twilight, if you're going to randomly sing Justin Bieber songs, you could at least be in tune. Okay, I don't know about 1,000 years ago, but these ponies better be appreciating the night now, because seriously, look how beautiful it looks. Of course, I've always found nighttime to be beautiful, but they've captured it well here in my opinion. The summer sun celebration is all set to go and...
Isn't this exciting? Are you excited?
Okay, Pinky, can you settle down, please? I'm trying to do a review here. As I was saying, the celebration is set to go, and the little pony with the most imaginative name ever, Mia, gives the big introduction for Princess Celestia. There's just one tiny little problem.
She's gone.
And guess who's taken her place?
Nightmare Moon.
And talk about beautiful but deadly, but seriously, just look at her design. I love how they make it clear that she's the villain and therefore a threat to the other ponies, but at the same time there's also something beautiful about her design. Though if you ask me, she needs to be careful with that horn of hers. I mean seriously, you'll put an eye out with that! Twilight heads back to the library to research the elements of harmony.
And just what are the elements of harmony?
Yeah, what are the elements of harmony?
There are 6 elements of harmony, but only 5 are known. Kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty, and loyalty.
Gee, I bet the fact that a specific pony was shown when they mentioned a specific element was just a coincidence and will have absolutely no bearing on the rest of the episode, even though the little ponies somehow changed position without even moving in order for said coincidence to happen. The ponies head to where the elements were last said to have been seen, even though that means travelling through a creepy place known as
The Evergreen Forest.
which, despite what I thought I heard, isn't called the Evergreen Forest, despite the fact that it is clearly a place where darkness falls leaving shadows in the night, but whatever, this name works too, and even makes sense if you watch a later episode. But to make matters worse, Nightmare Moon can apparently mystify herself. I don't mean like confuse herself or anything, but I mean literally turn into mist and mess with the other ponies. It's such an awesome power in my opinion, and I can see a lot of potential in it. Who knows what she could do with it? In this case, it involves making an entire cliff edge fall from under them. Oh dear, I hope that the little ponies that are at the start of an entire series that I've already seen turn out to be okay. As it happens, they do turn out to be okay, but Twilight is left hanging around until Applejack offers some sage advice. Just perfect for cliffhanging situations like this.
Let go, and you'll be safe.
Wait, no, that can't be right. Who's got the script? Oh, I see. She needed to let go so she could be saved later on. So it's like a trust fall, I guess? Whatever. I get the point of what this scene is trying to say. And thanks to a friend, I also understand that the show don't tell rule must be taken into consideration. So, yeah, I get the criticisms, but it is what it is. But it's not over yet, as the ponies are now blocked by...
A Manticore! We've got to get past him.
Okay, fight scene, here we go! Come on, come on. Yeah, got him! Awesome! That is so cool. Keep going. Yeah, you get... No, don't go that way, go that way. What are you doing? You got it.
Yeehaw! Get 'em all, little dogs.
Okay, careful. Oh,
All yours, partner.
okay, here we go. Dashy, that is not your saluting hoof. Also, I love how calm Applejack looks in the scene before. Okay, here we go. Finish him off. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. But as it turns out, as Fluttershy was trying to tell every pony, this manicure thing wasn't even trying to fight. He just had a little fawn problem. Gotta love those pop culture references, am I right? Next up, Nightmare Moon tries to stop the little ponies by giving the trees scary faces, and that's about it. Seriously? I mean, I get that they were likely playing it safe for the target audience, but I think the target audience would be able to handle it. I mean, it just seems out of place for this franchise to play it so safe, even with the later seasons, which I always found a bit lighter and softer in places, in mind. On the other hand, it does lead us to a fun Pinkie Pie song, which I totally didn't do a parody of on a review blog that I totally didn't leave gathering dust a decade ago, and said song is as fun and nostalgic now as it was when I first heard it, so it's ultimately forgivable. And in fairness, they're probably supposed to think the trees are alive or something. Who can say, really? Pinkie gets the other ponies to laugh their fears away, which is a pretty good message for the target audience, and the ponies carry on, only to be blocked again. Yes, you can see the theme with this episode, can't you? This time by slightly rough water.
How are we gonna cross this?
Oh, hang on, I know this one. It's something to do with not leaving the fox with the chicken. Turns out that a distressed sea serpent is the cause of the waves that, in fairness to me, look like they'd probably be safe to pass through without harm, even though they're clearly not meant to. And he's distressed because...
This tacky little cloud of purple smoke just whisked past me and tore half of my beloved mustache clean off.
Okay, overreaction much? And excuse me, tacky? Nothing about Nightmare's beautiful magic is tacky, thank you very much. Speaking of beautiful, Rarity is sympathetic and understanding to the sea serpent, who she apparently sees the beauty in.
I simply cannot let such a crime against fabulosity go uncorrected.
Wait, what's she doing?
Rarity, what are you...
Dude! Of course not. All she did was cut a piece of her tail off to replace the moustache. And yeah, I know, that was an unoriginal joke, I'm sure, but come on, they obviously knew what they were doing when they did that scene. The ponies reach yet another cliff that needs crossing, but fortunately Dashy here can simply fly across and reattach the bridge. Unfortunately, Nightmare Moon is up to her old tricks again.
No, Rainbow Dash. We want you to join us. The Shadow Bolts.
Okay, so Nightmare Moon's plan here is to tempt Rainbow Dash into leaving the others and joining these Shadow Bolts ponies. Makes sense. Except, no, it doesn't make sense actually. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense for Nightmare to create the illusion of the Wonderbolts themselves for this? You know, seeing as they're who Rainbow Dash is dreaming of joining? Seriously, Dashy's never even heard of these Shadow Bolts from what I can see. How does she know they're not just a group of posers who aren't worth joining over her actual idols?
We're the greatest aerial team in the Everfree Forest.
See there, she literally just said that they're the best flyers in a place where no pony ever goes. Dashy, why are you even listening to this? Either way, Rainbow Dash chooses her, in my opinion, mostly new friends over the admittedly cool-looking, but sadly presumably non-existent Shadow Bolts. And the little ponies can finally enter the castle which contains the elements of harmony. But it's not over yet. We're still one element short, remember? Twilight tries to uncover the sixth element, which is starting to sound like a good name for a movie. But Nightmare Moon is onto her and transports her somewhere else in the castle. Okay, here we go. Okay, Twilight, here we go. Come on, Twilight. Yes, done it. Okay, now do the magic and...
No! No! Nothing happened!
Nightmare destroys the elements and all seems lost. But then, the real magic of this show happens. Twilight does the big Final Fantasy Last Boss chapters from a self-help booklet speech explaining how each pony represents each element and how this was proven in the scenes we just saw. It's a pretty well done scene and a good way of giving the audience a payoff to what is ultimately a pretty easy to predict storyline, albeit an entertaining and nostalgic one in my opinion.
And Rainbow Dash.
Okay, who animated that one? I mean, her head just bobs up and down across the screen. I'm never going to take that one seriously, am I? Twilight herself, meanwhile, turns out to represent the sixth element, representing the magic of friendship, which, while again coming as relatively no surprise, is again revealed in such a beautiful way it really doesn't seem to matter, especially when the whole scene fits the theme of the show perfectly. The main six combine their elements into a beautifully awesome rainbow attack and sort Nightmare out all for one and one for all. Now that, in my opinion, was awesome and very My Little Pony. I mean, using a rainbow for the force of good just really fits into the idea of this show. In fact, the entire franchise, in my opinion. Princess Celestia returns from wherever she disappeared to and reveals that she knew about the ponies and the elements the entire time. She just needed Twilight to accept friendship. So adorable. Meanwhile, Nightmare Moon has been restored to her true self.
Princess Luna. We were meant to rule together, little sister.
Sister?
Wait, doesn't at least Twilight know that they're sisters? I mean, she was the one reading the book earlier, but... Or doesn't she not know that Celestia was the other pony? Did nobody check this? The Royal Sisters make up, and Princess Luna is welcomed back to Equestria, and all is right with the world. Except there's just one little problem.
Just when I learn how wonderful it is to have friends, I have to leave them.
But of course that ends up not being the case, as Princess Celestia decides that Twilight will continue to study the magic of friendship in Ponyville for as many episodes as this show is and then some. Oh man, did it hear a decent amount of episodes. And thus begins the 4th generation of My Little Pony. And if you ask me, it's a beautiful way to do so. The two-parter sets up the characters perfectly and gives us a good idea of what to expect from the show, particularly in the earlier seasons in my opinion. The whole thing just has that nostalgic edge to it, that I can feel like I grew up with it, like I essentially said, but at the same time give nostalgia for the actual time I saw it and be as nostalgic as it was the first time I saw it as well. So not only for being deserving of this rating in my opinion, but also for being my favourite show in general and reintroducing me to the world of My Little Pony and becoming my favourite franchise in general, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic's Season 1 premiere can be nothing less than an awesome animation! If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more animation reviews, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And until the next video, see you around YouTubers!